Hello and welcome to the Amerind Foundation. My name is Eric Kaldahl. I'm the Chief Executive here at the Foundation and the Chief Curator of the Museum. And for the last year, we had an absolutely wonderful exhibit by a very seasoned artist, Gerry Quotskuyva, who just had a most amazing exhibit full of different media, bronzes, multimedia pieces, paintings, acrylics, oils. It was outstanding. And Gerry is going to join us again this summer, where he's going to be an artist in residence here for June, July, and August. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce you to Gerry. And Gerry, could you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you started your art career?
Some 26 years ago, I decided to become an artist and actually just went at full boat. I quit working. It's like, okay, I'm gonna be a starving artist for a while. Let's see what happens. And things flourished really fast. I was living in Tucson at the time, and I decided to follow unconventional methods in my approach to the art form and my business plan. So suddenly I was moving from Tucson back closer to my family, back closer to the reservation and everything. And it just developed from there. Things started happening and growing. I made a lot of connections and started traveling, doing the markets and everything. This exhibit turned out to be kind of a 25-year retrospective. That's why there was such a vast arrangement of pieces because they represented a lot of exploration and everything I did throughout the first several years. And I tell you, I was really overwhelmed and very satisfied with how you set it up and the way everything looked in there. And thank you guys there at Amerind for all that you did.
So you will be at Amerind here for 3 months, June, July, and August. What's on your to-do list? What are you going to try to tackle while you're an artist in residence here?
I have a phenomenal piece of route called the Gnarly Route. That's what I call it, the Gnarly Route Project. And the only time I've had the freedom to really focus on it and allow myself to gel with the wood is when I'm away from home. So I had the pleasure of starting the project in Santa Fe at the School for Advanced Research. While I was there, I was really focused on it and managed to carve, I think, 28 or 32 catsinas in the front part of the wood. And then I went to Durango for 1 month, and I sculpted in dioramas of the men and their responsibilities on the backside. It's turning out to be a timepiece in a way, because I'm sculpting into it things that are happening in nature at the time. So like while I was in Durango, I had one spot that I couldn't figure out what I wanted to do, and it wasn't speaking to me. And it just so happened a comet was coming through at the time, and that piece ended up becoming the comet, which was perfectly appropriate because below that, I had carved a little alcove site with a priest in prayer. So the two of them fused together, and I'll share with you the route right now. Let me bring this a little closer so you can see it. This is the Gnarly Route right here. It's 4.5 feet tall. Let me which direction? It's 4.5 feet tall, and as you can see, there's all those little sculptures on there, and they're all different female figures that I'm working on. In that area. So my primary objective is to work on the Gnarly Route for the 3 months I'm there. I have a lot of work I want to get done on it, but I'm more than welcome and receptive to people coming in to visit while I'm there. I think it's a great opportunity to be a part of something. In my research, what I've discovered is that there are very few pieces of this magnitude that have been sculpted by Hopi carvers.
For those people who had the opportunity to see you during your gallery talk in February, you had mentioned that you saw your artwork taking out in a new direction. Could you expand on that?
There's a whole nother direction I'm looking at going. Historically, when you study art, the most popular works of art had to do with issues with environment or political statements, so to speak. And one of the challenges I've had as a Hopi carver is we are stuck in a niche. You know, we carved dolls, and that's what's expected from Hopi, from the men, is to carve the katsina dolls. But some have bridged out, like Ramson, who started doing glass sculptures and things like that. And there was also the artist Hopi historically, who really started doing some unique and big works and had experiences like with the Grand Canyon. Before several numbers of years ago, the museum had them actually do a huge Kiva mural incorporating our tradition with respect to the modern world, and they dealt with a lot of issues that's going on. And that's an area I feel I lack in. So what I'm doing is I actually have concepts for way more contemporary works. I have designs in my head already that will be more for exhibit purposes over sale.
So what inspires your creative inspiration? Where do you find your muse?
Stuff like that. I would prefer to go out into nature. And initially when I started as an artist, a lot of it came from dreams. My very first Hallmark piece, The Corn Maiden, came from a dream in which I woke up in the morning and I was thinking about it. And it was about a katsina flying from the corn and the husks of the corn turning into a robe. That ended up becoming what became a very successful design. Same thing happened with my butterfly maiden. So a lot of times my dreams played an important role. So I get it from everywhere. I've had visions going 70 miles an hour down the highway, you name it. It's just, I feel like being receptive to the universe around me just allows that to happen.
So you were on exhibit at Amerind for about a year before we had to temporarily close our doors. Can you tell us what it was like to exhibit here at Amerind?
I've done several exhibits, one-man shows as well as group exhibits, but this one had an impact on my career more than any of them ever did. There was the connection with the magazine, Cowboys and Indians. And throughout the years, I watched my analytics on my website, and it was good. We all think it could always be better and everything, and it was serving its purpose. But with that connection with Cowboys and Indians through the museum there, what ended up happening was I'm amazed at the numbers my website is getting. I've been amazed at the emails I've received from people who saw the exhibit, who wanted to express their appreciation for it. As many said, a very tactile exhibit because it was so broad. So I feel like this has been one of the biggest opportunities I've had so far in my career.
Thank you. Gerry, it was an absolute honor to have you here, and we're really looking forward to having you as a neighbor this summer and seeing all the different things that you come up with.
Well, I'm looking forward to it, and like I said, I really appreciate what you guys have done for me. I'm mostly looking forward to being isolated in a beautiful canyon. That's a really nice area down there.